Okay, here we are.
Here we are. We're back.
Another episode of Night Country True Detective.
Okay, yes, that just reminded me of something else. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
This episode, I don't know.
I mean, yes. Through episode 3, I was like, I'm at least interested. I'm still interested, but I'm also... we don't have many episodes left to tie everything together.
Yeah, and maybe they're going to wait till the very last 10 minutes to tie it all together, but that's going to leave a lot of holes, I think. So
yeah.
All right.
But I don't know. I think Jodie likes to get her holes filled.
Hey!
So who hasn't she slept with?
I mean, they do make a point of highlighting the fact that her character is the town,
mattress?
Bicycle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fine. It's just it's such a weird thing that they have to point it out.
Yes. Does it add anything to the character?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, in season 1 with Rust and his philosophical ramblings, that added a lot.
It added a lot, but that's show don't tell. Now they're just telling us.
Yeah.
Let's see Russ be crazy. Well, fine, then let's see Danvers be a whore. Why not? Let her go. I mean, maybe she... Maybe what we're seeing is the results of that.
Yeah.
And everyone's reaction when they open the door and there she is, like, you slept with my husband.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So I guess, I don't even know what to talk about. I felt like we jumped from location to location to location.
Oh, I know where to start. We ended the previous episode with a big fight at the emergency room. And now we don't really know anything about it. What started it? What caused it?
Well, I thought they mentioned it in this episode, some shooting.
They mentioned it.
Yes, but I'm like, well, why was there a shooting?
And why don't we know anything about it?
Yeah, and I don't even know when yet.
Because it seemed like a big deal. It was very exciting. Why are they fighting in the lobby of the ER?
Yeah.
Are they just dumbasses and that's why? That's not enough.
No.
Okay. Yeah, this episode was a little frustrating.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the big things. So one of the big things at the beginning, Connolly is there, but he's not taking over the case, but they are shipping the bodies back to Anchorage. Mm-hmm. So that's, their evidence is being taken away for them.
So they're doing the scene again where Danvers is confronting him saying, you're not taking over this case. Like they've already shown that.
Yeah.
They've already done that. So
most of Danvers' sleuthing seems to be watching that video over and over and over again.
Yeah. The detective work is minimal now, and it's just like now it's just relationships and weird things.
Yes. From her watching the video, though, she realizes both of them had
There's a power outage in both videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a big reveal. We meet some new characters. Or new characters are presented.
Otis,
yes. They talk about him because he had injuries, right? Similar to...
Yeah, the kid tracked down similar injuries to the victims where they eardrums and eyes and self-harm and stuff like that. And so they found this guy. He's a ghost, basically. Not a ghost in the sense that he's supernatural, but a ghost in the world of... There's no record of him. So security, not, all this stuff is...
He dropped off, the face of the earth after...
And it's been years since anybody's seen him. So where's he been?
Yes. We find out at some point in the episode that Otis had mapped tons of caves.
Ice caves.
Yes. And they are looking for an ice cave because that's where...
That's in the video. That's where
their friend died.
Annie Kay
Thank
died.
you. I can't remember her name now. More interesting things. Hank, he goes to the plane to meet his fiance. I think that was my favorite part.
Oh my God. I was so excited to see what happened. And it did not disappoint. That was one scene that did not disappoint. Hank standing there waiting for them people to come off the airplane, and she never comes off the airplane because she doesn't exist.
Scam. He goes back to the police station, and his son is like, where she didn't get on the, where's your fiance?
Yeah, he's immediately making excuses and trying to justify.
Something happened. She's not answering her phone. The son asks a good question. Did you give her any money? Yeah. And he dodges the question.
Yeah, because of course he did.
Yeah. Other big things. Liz's daughter spray painted a building. Liz goes to
the mine office, the corporate office. She's spray painted murderers across the front doors.
Really great penmanship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Set designers.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, yes.
A teenage girl in the freezing cold dark.
I'm like freezing cold, and also like, wouldn't she put more flair to it? Knowing teenage girls, I feel like it was just too plain. Okay, it doesn't matter.
I feel like it's just another example of like they're dumbing things down for a dumb audience, and they didn't do that in season 1.
No, I felt like I have to watch season 1 once a year to just even figure more stuff out.
Yeah, you got to have a notebook.
Yes, Liz gets the daughter off.
Gets her from not having to go to jail.
Yeah, sorry, not doesn't get her off. Sorry.
Keeps her from going to jail.
Yeah, but the daughter's pissed about that.
Yeah, so she leaves.
Yes, she goes to
the junior officer's house where she's friends with his wife. Yeah,
and mom.
Let's talk about that relationship. The what's his name? The kid. All right, Hank's son, who's a deputy.
Yes, I can't remember.
Him and his wife, Pete.
No, it's not Pete. Never mind.
It's Randy.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
All right, it's the younger cop.
Yes.
It's the younger cop and his wife. And they've had this scene 3 times now where he comes home and she's pissed at him because he's late or couldn't do the thing that he was supposed to do. He's a police officer. 8 people are missing or dead. And it's only been a few days.
It literally.
I'm so sick of this dynamic between husband and wife in these shows that it's like, no, you would understand, you would be behind him and support him. And as I said to you earlier, we were making dinner earlier, I was like, imagine what this guy's job is like normally. He could probably take all kinds of time off. There's nothing happening in that town.
I mean, I get it's Christmas, but I mean,
get over yourself and you pull your end of the canoe.
Yes, exactly.
Stop beating up the guy who's got a job that he can't control.
Navarro puts her sister into an assisted living facility
after she's found wandering in the streets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Liz found her stripping, basically.
Yeah.
She bundles her up, saves her, and so they put her into a assisted living facility, and we think everything's going to go okay.
But then she's sitting on the edge of the bed,
and an orange rolls out
from under the bed. The
orange.
The orange. Now, speaking of oranges, I was very carefully watching the intro credits with the Billie Eilish music this time because I normally didn't really pay that much attention. There is a spiral orange peel in the. Ooh. Okay. And so the orange reveals
a dead body under the bed.
Possibly her mother.
Like a ghoul, yeah.
Possibly her mother because of the crucifix.
I'm tired of all these jump scares at this point.
Yeah, it's like a horror
flick. It's kind of like, okay. I guess I'm going to continue with her. She eventually kills herself.
She just wanders out.
Yep, strips and goes into the water and drowns.
Yep.
The Coast Guard finds her
almost immediately.
Yeah, and calls and identifies her too, pretty much immediately.
That's another thing. The Coast Guard's not going to. Okay.
She's naked. They find her.
The problem is that they had to get Navarro to become aware that her sister just died. So what plot device will they use? Oh, let's have a lieutenant from the Coast Guard call her up. Meanwhile, the Coast Guard would have contacted the state, the agency that Navarro actually works for to identify, and one of her own supervisors would have called her to tell her that. Not the freaking Coast Guard, not some guy on a boat.
Yeah, it was not really adding up. So, but
I'm sorry, I'm going on one of my rants now.
It's okay. You have your rants. Yes, I mean it's one of mine. It didn't really make sense. It's a little too convenient to find.
Yeah.
So fast. So but we get her state of mind for part of this episode. Then she's kind of.
We really wanted this season to be good.
We did. Sorry, go ahead. The Sun cop, the Sun, and Navarro go back to those camps to go find Oliver Tagak.
Tagak, yeah.
He's not there.
He's been gone for a while.
Everything in his cabin is frozen, but they find the spiral on a piece of cardboard and also on a rock.
Yeah.
When they leave the building, the locals are there and we're like, we don't want you here.
Same scene as before.
Yes.
The locals are pissed that they're coming to their village, running the cops off again. So that's twice we've seen that same scene.
Yes.
That's great.
He left a long time ago, and the dogs do not like the spiral.
Yeah, the dogs react when she holds up the spiral.
Yeah, ask him what it is.
Rose?
Yes, I didn't really understand the point of this visit, aside from learning more about Rose. Navarro goes to Rose's house.
To have dinner.
Yes, Rose is all dressed up, very fancy. Has lots of fine spread of food, which must have been expensive.
I wonder what this dinner was for. Are they interested in each other?
I don't think so, but I wouldn't put it past anybody.
Yeah, this is such a weird episode.
Yes.
All right, so she just tells her a little bit of her backstory, that she was a college professor and she was writing academic papers, and one day she just got fed up with it and said it's all useless, and she moved to Alaska so that she could, live up there and skin, wolves by herself, which I think is crazy. But she does say there's a bunch of dead people around.
Yes, that's true. Later on, I'm like, I don't even know.
We're jumping around.
I know. I just don't know.
The bear? Did we talk about the bear? Shows up twice. There's a bear that causes Danvers to wreck.
Yes, she's
it's
also
the same
a little
bear.
tipsy. Yeah.
So she's Danvers is tipsy. She wrecks because of the bear in the road, or because she's drunk and she's seeing things.
Yeah, I think it's the bear that she wrecks, but.
Yeah, but it's the same bear from earlier with the one eye.
Yes.
Right? That's a theme, by the way. There's other characters with one eye.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes. And also earlier at one point when Navarro's there and finds the stuffed animal polar bear and makes a big deal about holding on to somebody's dead.
Yeah, they actually have an interesting moment between these two characters, Danvers and Navarro, where Navarro is basically, before she can even get it out, before Navarro even says anything about, holding on to the past or whatever, Liz just lights into her about it's just us. There's nobody else here. There's no ghosts. There's nothing out of the ordinary. It's all bullshit. And then she talks about the Wheeler case where they're in the room with the guy who just killed his girlfriend. And, but then Danvers changes it up and says, you saw something.
Yes.
So I didn't understand why she's taking one point and then taking the exact opposite point in the same argument. So anyways, the interesting part about it was that we see them in that room with the guy who ultimately is going to be killed by one of them. We're going to see that at some point. This is Wheeler killed his girlfriend, and they show up, and Danvers sees, I think it's the girlfriend who's standing up over her own dead body.
Yeah.
And she's screaming. Yeah, so we'll see.
And Danvers throws the polar bear out in the snow and is like, I don't need any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Navarro's driving. Is this when she's driving to the lighthouse? She sees some, I call them fuckboys.
She's on her way to the lighthouse.
Which is the assisted living facility to chew them out. She chews them out.
Because her sister's now dead, and so she's going to go yell at them and find out what happened. They don't have a clue. She trashes the lobby, and then she's on her way to this place. She saw those guys.
Yeah.
That she arrested one of them for domestic, and then on her way back, she stops and picks a fight with them.
Yeah, just gets out of her truck and to her sexy time boy's place, and he takes care of her.
She's all beat up. Her face is all messed up.
Her hand is all...
Yeah, arm, maybe. Yeah, fingers.
Yeah.
And I think he distracts her and then pulls it so that it's back into place.
Yeah.
And she's really pissed at him for doing that.
Yeah. I don't...
Okay, so Danvers and Navarro eventually figure out or get some tip on where this Otis Hess guy is because...
Well, yes.
He's wearing the pink jacket.
Yes.
And there's a picture of him. Somebody takes a picture of him.
Yeah.
And so they go to find where he is.
Yes. They find him in some building. They chase. Navarro starts seeing things and hearing whispers, so she stops chasing.
Yeah, so she starts seeing ghosts, and Danvers is pursuing...
But they think it's Clark, because Clark had the pink jacket.
That's right. They didn't know it was Hess. They thought it was Clark.
Yeah, because they saw this guy in the snow and it had the pink jacket. And so Otis has the jacket now. They find that out. Navarro starts following some bare footprints that are in the icy snow of the building.
Not bare like in raw.
Yeah,
Barefoot.
Barefoot, yes.
From a small person.
Well, Danvers is dealing with this man. We have another jump scare with her, right? There's another.
Yeah,
well, she turns around and it's behind her. I'm like, oh, I'm done with this.
Another ghost.
And then the Otis guy, he says, this is what I wrote down. We're all in night country now.
Yep. We are.
I hate that.
Yeah.
When shows, I feel like we're watching an episode of the X-Files that could have just been maybe a two-parter.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is an X-Files show. It's not a great detective show.
Not this
because
one.
I mean, they started out with some cool stuff, some good detecting in the first episode, and then I like the you're not asking the right question procedure, but they don't really do anything with that. It doesn't really take them anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just nothing happening. It's all these just weird interpersonal things, and none of it really does anything for you.
It's not interesting interpersonal stuff either. I mean...
Oh, and Navarro's eardrums are bleeding when Liz catches up with her. So maybe the screaming of the ghost that she saw busted her eardrum somehow. The other thing about Navarro, probably the last thing I'll say about her, is I think that she's convinced that because her mother went crazy and then her sister went crazy, that her family is cursed and therefore she's next in line.
Yeah.
So that might be a self-fulfilling prophecy that causes problems. What else you got?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I thought the same thing. She just thinks she's next. Maybe she is. Maybe it'd make the show interesting. I don't know. At this point, I think we just have 2 episodes left, and
we're just gonna get through them.
I'm ready.
We're gonna review them and then move on to our next thing, whatever that may be.
Exactly.
If you have comments, please leave them, and we would love to hear your thoughts on how this season is going.
Yes. Be sure to like and subscribe.
That's right.